welcome to another episode of the Ultra Happy Podcast. I am your host, ultra runner and coach Tania, and your magnificent co-host, Andy.
Co-host,
Yay!
engineer, guy that sets it up in the whim. I don't know.
I know. What do you think, guys? So, for everyone that's watching on YouTube, we have changed our background, our settings
Only
today.
for a day.
I think he didn't enjoy moving the whole thing outside the room. So I think we're going to go back to our normal. But we just thought in sharing a little bit of our view. And yeah, so if you're watching, you are going to have a different view today. If you're listening, you don't get that benefit.
If you're watching, I think we may have timed it right. You might even get a bit of the sunset.
Yeah, you're going to get a Dubai sunset behind us. So yeah, lovely. Lovely for episode 3 of our season 2. And we still recapping the Namibian race, 250 kilometers that we just did a couple of weeks ago. And we are in stage 3 and 4. So the race, for whoever is just arriving and there's just new listeners, the race is 250 kilometers in 6 stages, and each stage is broken in 40 kilometers. So it's 40 kilometers, 80K, and then the sprint to the finish with a tiny 10K at the end. So in the previous podcast, we've been reviewing stage 1 and 2, and then today we're going to go full swing with stage 3 and 4 for you all.
Side note, I don't know anything about it, so what we've done is we actually kept it so that I didn't know what had happened
doesn't
during
know
them,
what I'm going to say.
so that I can ask my usual stupid, maybe not stupid questions.
Funny questions. I think if people enjoy your questions.
Do you know something funny? Somebody said to me, and I know another person said to you, that it was quite good because the questions that I'm asking are from a novice runner's point of view, and they actually thought that they wanted to know the answer to that.
Definitely, this podcast is not only for experienced ultra runners. I think you can all find a little bit of, both. If you're starting to run, maybe you can find a little bit of answers in your journey, hopefully. And if you're an experienced runner as well, you're going to find some, obviously, me as an experienced runner that I've been doing it for a couple of years and I'm going now to these far distances. You're going to be learning a little bit of that as well.
I have a question.
You have to raise your hand.
I have to raise my hand. At what stage do you become an experienced runner? How do we judge that?
I think if you do I'm not certain number of races or runs, but I guess, yeah, that's a good question.
I've done 5 10Ks in my experience.
You're experienced 10K runner. I was going to say that's in my life of days. We start always with a little bit of a life update. And yeah, that was in my notes. How has your running been, by the way? I feel like we've been so into the race that I haven't asked you.
I forgot about my run. My run is not even, it seems to be a fun part. It's fell over from series 1 into this series 2, isn't it? But do you know what? I think I remember probably the last time that we talked about it on the podcast is that
you were hitting a road path like
it was rocky.
Yeah, it was
rocky because I'd done a couple of 10Ks
patch.
and I was getting bored with it, and I joked I ran out of documentaries, I think. But I'm back again. I'm back again enjoying it.
How are you feeling running in the heat?
But the reason is that I actually got back into it again, and when I say back into it again, I didn't run for like 3 weeks or something like that. Is because remember my shoulder?
Yeah.
I'd torn my muscle in my shoulder, and I thought, right, I'm going to get back into running properly again. So I was running like 4 or 5 times that week, which you gave me into trouble for, and then. Yeah, I was still on the treadmills, but I've been out a couple of times. In fact, I actually ran a 5K when you were out doing your running, and a wee bit of a celebration.
I've seen that post.
And I think that was the first time.
Tania is suffering a long day running in the heat,
I thought
I can do 5K. I love that.
I know, but you know the funny thing is, I remember in it, I was like that. I thought I'd go out and do a wee bit of a celebration, run for Tania. She's almost done, doing a wee 5K. Bloody roasting.
It was in the night. I see the post. It was in the night.
It was like 34 degrees, and I thought.
Were you thinking like, how the hell is she doing
Yeah,
this mat run in 50 degree heat?
That's one of the things I was quite keen to talk about in this episode of the podcast, actually, because I know that one of the things I do know is this is one of the ones that we're going to talk about how high the temperature was, right?
Yes, we're going to
we touched
talk
on that
about
last week.
cooling techniques.
But that's one of the things I wanted to talk about because, I mean, I have discovered that running in the heat that I have sweat coming from places that I didn't know you could get sweat from.
And
I mean,
it makes it really difficult to breathe as
Aye.
well. You feel
I
like
mean,
suffocated a little
the
bit.
other day I had sweat coming from my ears, inside my ears. So I've actually,
eyes,
but the funny thing is,
yeah.
see, you were saying that what you do is you come up with ideas in your cooling system that we're going to talk about. I've ended up now that what I do is I wear, you know the gaiters that we got when we were away skiing, the blue gaiters for your neck.
No, you get is the buff.
Buff, as you call it, a buff. So I've got a blue buff, and what I do is I wear it as a headband.
Yeah.
And it's fine. It works good.
The sweat at least stops it to
I mean,
go into your ears.
I look like, for one of a better Scottish word, like a bloody idiot when I'm running with it. But here, listen, it works. I've got the hair popped out and all that. But do you know what? It works. And so going back to the running question is, I'm back enjoying it again.
You're still doing your 10Ks?
I was working back up to it again. So I've been doing 5s. I've done 7 the other day. And my next
kind of
one
like
I'll
building
be
up
doing.
again.
Aye.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Because I remember what you said and Sarah said as well is about the deloading.
Yeah.
As well. So what you do is if you're building up to something, then go and do that. But then what you do is deload for a wee while and then build back up again.
Yes, definitely.
So
Like I said, that will
have been
help
listening.
you as well, the mental side. Like not only your body, but like you said, you were hitting like a rough patch or like, oh, I'm feeling really bored. And I think doing that deloading is also mentally like let your mind rest a little bit of that effort. Because obviously it's an effort. It's a hard effort to if you're not a runner and then suddenly try to do 10Ks, that is mentally stressful.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I am glad
Thanks for asking.
that was so cool when I seen you like running in like 38 heat and die. And I was like, yeah, well, imagine myself. I'm bloody roasting out there. And I'm back running here as well. I'm going back into training. This week, the intensity went a little bit over into the gym. I'm going back to double sessions. So gym in the morning, runs in the afternoon, and I went to the gym for the first time here in the building. So we have my new gym. That is going to be my new gym now. It's always exciting, just to start a new phase, how I call it, and just new equipment and new everything. I'm going to tell a funny story. The funny story that happened to me in the gym
Brilliant.
yesterday. Okay, guys, brace yourself. This is a cracker. I am at the gym doing my workout, and I seen this guy in the lifts once in a while because I walk the dog. So he's been in the lift a couple of times.
Yep.
So we, chit chat. It looks like he works out, and we kind of like chatted. And then I went to the gym, and I seen this guy again.
Well, he was running next to me.
You were
wasn't
running,
he?
yeah.
I was running on the treadmill, and he was running next to me.
And yeah, I seen he came in and all that, and he just kind of say hello, and I was like, oh yeah, because we kind of like remember each other from the lift. And I was doing my workout and all that, and then he approaches me after, when he was doing he finished running, and then he went into the mat area, where I was, and he approached me, and he's like, hey, do you want to try one of my workouts, another day? And he was like doing this jumping and doing like hundreds of exercises back and forth, and with this like super hyper energy, and he was sweating like so much. He's like, do you want to try one of my workouts, like and I'm like, no, at the moment. I have a training, and I just finished a race, and I'm recovering, so I'm really easing into the exercise again, and he's like, oh yeah, race, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a runner, and I did just a race in Namibia, and I told him 250 kilometers. Guys, you should have seen his face. The look he gave me, it was like from up and down, like 2 times. And then he stared at me and he said, you?
That's the best part.
And I'm like...
That's the best part.
And I look at myself up and down. Yeah, me? Like, why not?
And then what did he say?
And then he's like, oh, if you ran that much, you would be like this. Like
as
showing,
in like so skinny, like a pinky.
Like a pinky, showing me his pinky. Like, oh, if you run that much, you will be like this, like meaning skinny. And I'm like, oh my God. I don't know if I wanted to punch him. I don't know if I laughed internally, but not really. But it was good that he told that to me, because I am very aware, and I know who I am, and obviously I know that being skinny or, that doesn't define what you're capable of. At this stage of my life, I feel strong, and I kind of try to explain to him that actually what I do is endurance sports, and for that you need to build a body that can endure,
can do it.
and that is not being skinny or being hungry. And my physiognomy, my genetics is just how they are, and the most important is to be strong, not skinny, or and then a runner doesn't really need to look a certain way. And like I said, I thought it was good in a certain way that he said that to me, but I was a little bit worried behind my head, like after the whole chat. I told you, obviously, and we laughed and all that. But after, I was like making a reflection of, what if this person said that to someone with a little bit of a fragile self-esteem? I thought if he had said that to me 8 years ago, I think I would have struggled a little bit. I would have felt fat. I would have felt shamed, body shamed by that comment. And I just thought, that's such a shame that there's people out there that's still judging you by your looks. I think it's not right to say that, and so judgmentally. And one of the beautiful things that this race, and more running, ultra running in general, taught me since the beginning, and more so now in these kind of races, is that, and we spoke about it in the previous podcast, how you look, it zero defines if you're going to make it to the end or not. It doesn't define your capability at all. There were faster runners that were maybe a little bit more heavier than me. There were skinnier runners or lighter runners that were behind me. There were older runners that were in front of me. There were younger runners. Like, there's no, that's what I love this sport so much. I think it's just these kind of sports, the endurance is like true equalizer in that sense, because everyone is almost the same at some point, and it comes down to mental strength and mental grit and all that. So,
well, we had a laugh about it afterwards, as you said, right? I mean, we were literally howling, and the guy, when I went over to you and we were talking about it and laughing, must have went like that. Oh shit, this is like, it's maybe not panned out, because I think that the guy's intention was actually to be nice and say something, right?
Yeah.
And then what's happened, I don't even think it would have been hitting on you like that. I think he's in the gym, he's seen you doing something, probably something that's a bit alien to him, because even me watching what you're doing just now with the ball looks a bit strange,
I'm just doing mobility just for everyone.
He's probably overthinking to say, I'll maybe talk about a workout or whatever, and then when he said to you about it, right, and you've said about your ultra running, for me that shows the ignorance to the sport. Because what happens is, and we've said it right for the very first day when we started doing this podcast, and when I spoke to Sarah, and when I spoke to Sam on the previous podcast, is that it's such an underexposed sport that people don't know about it. When they see runners and they think of runners, they look at people who are sprinters, people that are doing marathons, people that are podium runners. Do you know what I mean?
That's a really good point, because I think the media, obviously, what you see is, even if you see a trail race in the media, in the Facebook or Instagram, you see this like super lean, running super fast the trails. And yes, that people obviously exist, but I think we should also look at the meat of the pack, back of the pack, where is the 80-90% of the meat of this sport that is, maybe it doesn't look that way, maybe are not as fast. And I think if we would portray that, I think more people would feel welcome into the sport, and would feel a little bit more like, hey, if she's doing it, maybe I can do it, instead of just trying to put this.
You've still got your swimmer shoulders from back in the day when you were swimming, right? So he's probably looked at you and thought you were a shot putter or something. And thought, maybe I can help her with a bit of strength.
She's looking a little bit chubby.
I know.
And you know what? I wasn't even wearing. That's the other point, because you said, how can he said that? You're wearing something. I go to the gym. Yeah, I go to the gym with oversized t-shirts and legging, like short. Yeah, it was short. But even the previous day, I was doing a leg workout or something. You said, oh, your legs look ripped. You look really good. So it was just a shock for me, this guy coming to tell me that I don't look thin, or I don't know.
But you don't look thin.
I don't look thin. And that was probably, that was so good. Like, thank God I don't look like this. I'm very proud of my muscly legs. I've worked hard for
I'm
this.
very proud of your muscly legs as well.
Thank you. So yeah, just wanted to share that experience, and if ever anyone comes across anything like that, just don't feel attacked. I think people sometimes are just ignorant and just do what you love, and
What makes you ultra happy?
body do whatever makes you ultra happy, and your body doesn't define what you can do. Just really listen to that very strongly. So yeah, let's start talking what we came here to probably tune into. Listen in stage 3 and stage 4 of the Namibia race. So stage 3, let's start with that one, because then we're going to start turning up the volume here. So stage 1 and 2 were a little bit, I call them probably the introduction of, stage 2 was hard.
Yeah.
It was entering the dunes, and then you were climbing up dunes and all that. But then stage 3 is called, you want to know the name of this?
Was stage 3 like a completely different terrain?
Yes. I think every stage was a different terrain. And, well, I will take up from the night before. So
Right,
the night
okay.
before, there were starting like rumors around saying that the next stage, next day, was going to be really hot. And
I love it. Rumors. Somebody's like,
there's
it's going to be
rumor.
really hot
I
tomorrow.
don't know where they come from. Yeah, because we don't know. You should wait until the briefing.
Nobody's got their phones to tell it. Maybe it's the race coordinators are like
Maybe
that.
someone, yeah.
Start off telling people it's going to be terrible tomorrow.
Or maybe someone that have done it before. Remember, there's people
Oh,
that
yeah,
have done
that's
the
right.
race
Yeah,
before,
yeah,
so
yeah.
they kind of know what's coming. So that could be it, because there were rumors. So the
I love it.
rumors
Rumors.
were it was really hot, and it was going to be mentally challenging day. That's all I heard. Wow. Mentally challenging, and I was like, okay, what is that? And they were like, it's.
You're already mentally challenged.
I am already mentally challenged with this. So what do you mean? And they said that it's a very boring section. So I was like, I have no idea what you mean, but okay. And they said it was going to be very hot. So
What was in your head? But what was in your head at that point when people were saying that?
what? That was very
That
hot?
it was going to be very hot and mentally challenging.
So first of all, I thought my arms were already cooking in stage 2. And I am going, if they're saying it's going to be hotter, I need to fix that, because I thought that's going to be an issue. So I didn't want to carry my sleeves, because I thought extra weight. And, I love a good tan, so I don't need the sleeves. We'll just leave the sleeves in the hotel. Well, that was mistake number 1. But I fixed that. So I grabbed my long sleeve top. It's a part of your mandatory equipment. You have to bring a long sleeve top. So I said goodbye to my long sleeve beautiful top, and I came and then I cut the sleeves off of it.
Okay.
And then I put them on, and I clipped them with safety pins, which are also part of the mandatory kit.
Very technical. I love it.
It was the ultimate technology.
For the record, also, I gave you my Montaigne jacket for that race.
Yes.
See, if you'd have cut the sleeves off my Montaigne jacket, I think I might have killed you.
No, it was a very old long sleeve top, by the way, but that was the way to solve it, right? So I said I need to cover my arms, so I have to, find some practical way to sort it. That's what I'm saying with I love these races, because there's a problem, solve it with whatever you have.
Yeah.
So I love that. So that was my way of solving it. So I knew that will help me to keep my skin cool, because it was all about the cooling management of it, right? So that's what I did. So, and the backpack, they ask you that you need it to. I realized that at every checkpoint, if I cool down myself with water, like sprinkle some water through my body, that really helped me. Like that felt so refreshed, so renewed, energized. So I thought I need to do. But the moment you left the checkpoint, you will dry off in 3 seconds, and then you're back to like dying. So I thought.
I see a lot of people like actually taking their hats and soaking them in water and taking their tops and soaking it in water. That things. So there wasn't like a bucket of water available or anything like that. You just drinking water. That was it.
Yes, you cannot use the water for any of those, because the water is very
Precious.
Precious there. So, but what I did, or what I came again with the idea, is I need to create a cooling system, an effective cooling system.
Now, I've been thinking of every way possible of what this cooling system might be, so I'm interested to find out,
Or it's a little bit gross, but a little bit genius.
obviously.
So, in the backpack, you are obligated to carry 2 liters of water. So I have 750 mils in my front bottle and the other one. So it's 1 liter in front of me
Yeah.
and then 1 liter in the back. So I have one of those kidney bags, it's called.
Yep, I know the
With,
ones, yeah.
with like a little bit like hose, like a coming out. So I put
They
that.
call it a sucky hose, do they?
Sucky hose? I did sucky the hose. So it came out from there.
That sounds terrible.
The sucky hose came right next to my shoulder. So, and then I added, instead of 1 liter, I added 1.5.
Okay.
So I added a tiny bit of more water because I was going to use that extra water for my cooling system. So what I did is when I went out and it was getting really hot between checkpoints, is I grabbed that sucky hose,
Sucky hose.
sucked it, all the water in my mouth. Oh my God, this is going to sound so gross, guys. But you know what? You're desperate at this
Right,
point.
here we go.
Here we go.
Hit me with it.
I just spit myself in the arms.
So you didn't, so done, you didn't drink the water?
No, I just spit it out. To
Okay.
cool, to wet my sleeves.
So hold on. So that I have, and you guys
I'm
have,
sure.
so have this straight. What you were doing is you were taking from the sucky hose enough water to fill your mouth so that you would wet your mouth.
And then I spit it.
And then, so you wouldn't drink any of that.
No.
You would just spit it out over the sleeves you created for the safety pins.
Yeah.
And then what did you do?
And then that's it.
Did
they
you
were
just,
wet.
so it was just kept your arms wet? You didn't
Yeah.
use it to...
Oh, and then I also spit a little bit of what was left in my bandana, which I wear a bandana, which that was bandana slash, like a little, it was the purple thing that I have. It's like a towel, a microfiber towel.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that is like my shower slash bandana slash cooling system. Best item I took with me as well. So pretty good item. I would wash it or wet it, and then with that will be my shower after.
For the
race.
people watching on YouTube, they're probably looking at my face thinking, I can see him thinking about this.
Brilliant.
So you're running, you take the water, you spit it on
Spit
your
my
arms,
arm sleeves,
it keeps your
and
arms
then
dry.
spit in
But
the
surely-
bandana, and then put the bandana over my nose, under my eyes, and then tie it behind my head. So what that would do is keep my skin moisture and all the water ends, well, like close, and that was it. That will keep me cool.
Okay, question.
Raise your hand.
For me,
Yeah,
my arms are never the thing that I need to keep cool.
that's what I thought.
For me, it would be probably definitely my face,
Yeah.
definitely my neck,
Yeah.
and probably my back. And
That's what I
maybe
thought.
maybe my legs,
That's what I thought.
but that worked, did it?
That's what I thought. I was like, my arms are fine. I will never need to cover them. I don't mind. Yeah. Once you hit 50 degrees, I think, you need to cover every inch of your body.
Right, okay.
So I had my hat, as you remember, my sunwear,
Your
put
visor.
all
your
the way
visor.
down, and then kept my nose covered and all that with the bandana.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would do that spitting on myself for as long as needed.
I don't know if I can go on with this podcast anymore knowing that you do.
So sorry. So yeah,
But here, listen, the fact
that
of the matter
worked.
is,
I felt amazing every
Yeah.
time I spit on myself.
disclaimer, we are not saying for anybody to spit on themselves. But here, listen, I was going to say...
But listen, I felt much better. It worked for me, it kept my temperature, my core temperature down. I could feel myself better every time I would spit on myself and then cool down. I was able to move forward faster and move better. And even now in my training runs right now, I mean, I don't need to spit on myself anymore. I just go and find one of those water fountains and then I, throw water at my body, and I kind of use that now still to kind of cool myself down. Cooling is so important. So obviously summer is coming, guys. So if you are running, training, you have a race that's coming up that it's hot, I think the cooling is something that you, like a cooling system or a cooler plan or whatever, it's something that needs to be integrated in your training and also in your training race. If you have access to ice, I've seen that a lot. Put a bandana, put an ice. There's bandanas that have like a wee zipper, so you can put like the ice inside the zipper and then kind of use it. Obviously, we did not have any ice, so actually the water that I was spitting on myself, it was warm water, but at least it was, it's water, it's wet, it's just was keeping me cool a little bit. So yeah.
But I as I was going to say there, I guess extreme situations call for extreme measures. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that you would do every day, but actually, we talked about the whole problem-solving thing. That solves a problem.
That solves a problem.
And to be fair, it's not like anybody's out there watching you, is it?
And I did realize that importance of cooling. That's one of the things that I've learned, I think, through this time putting myself in the roster, that cooling definitely makes a big difference in your performance. So yeah, that, because if you're starting to boil in, you cannot even take any food.
Yeah.
I've seen, or during the race, I've seen a lot of people throwing up. That was an everyday thing, and I will go into that in a little bit. But if you are not cooling down, you're going to suffer. And don't wait until you are overheating. You need to assess it right away. Don't feel super warm, hot. You just find a way to cool yourself down. I'm giving you a couple of options here. Spit on yourself is one.
Yeah.
Great. So stage 3.
Stage 7? I didn't even know that was stage 7.
Started at 7. Again, with Sam giving us the little bit of the information of the day. Same thing. She did say it was going to get into the 50s and it was going to be open field, absolutely. And it was going to be boring and mentally challenging. So yeah, the rumors were right. So we leave the dunes behind. There was no more dunes. So I thought, yay, we're going to, gonna go into a flat road, because that's what everyone was saying.
Yeah.
There was going to be a flat road, which I was like super happy. I was like, flat road, let's go running. I'm going to enjoy this stage until I did it. The heat came full swing. It was carnage. It was over 50 and it was dirty roads with trucks and vehicles coming both ways, and you're just in the side of the road. So every time I rode, a vehicle would come in, trucks and cars and all that would lift all the dust.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I was saying I had my bandana over and with wet water, because that was stopping all that.
Through,
I was like, the first hours, I was like, I need to stop this. And that's when I came with the idea I need to put my bandana or my wee towel, microfiber towel, which it was no bandana, it's just a towel. But I was like, I need to cover my mouth. So yeah, that's how I think I
tried to ask this on the last episode, right? And you didn't quite answer it for me. I think the way that I spoke about it on the first episode was about the second episode, sorry, was about your headgear. How was that? The visor and stuff. You said, it was really good. I could tilt it up and down. But the direction I was really wanting to go, should you really have eyewear for that sort of thing? Because if you're going through the desert, to me, and even if it's just like, you get the plane glasses and the stuff that cover you, seems to me that there's a lot of sand and dust floating about. Yeah. Should you not have eyewear? I know that you did have your Aura visor, which was amazing, but should you have had eyewear or should you not make a difference?
No, because it's the same. What's the difference?
Well, for me, it's very open. So your visor's very open.
But the sunglasses will also let dust
but it's only a tiny bit.
Still in. Like I don't think it would have made a big difference, to be honest. I didn't suffer from my eyes.
Well, that's where my next question. Did you suffer from
No.
it? Did you find you get a lot of sand in your eyes or dirt in your eyes?
No, it was just in the breathing. I could feel the dust coming in.
Right, okay.
So I had to stop it, put my bandana on, and yeah, I kept spitting on myself. You know how I came also with that idea?
Right,
Remember
enough
I
of the
was
spitting.
watching. Remember on my way there in the airplane, I was watching Mad Max.
Right.
And you know how to make the cars go faster, they spit petrol or gas into the motors.
Vaguely.
That's how it
And
came.
that's what you took from Mad Max, is it?
Yeah, just spit on it, and then you will go faster. So
Maybe next time try it with gasoline.
Imagine that. I will like
Like the Roadrunner.
yeah. So it was miles and miles, kilometers and kilometers of just a straight road
You hate that as well.
with nothing to see, nothing to
You hate
do,
that.
just plain, flat, boring. And then I'm going to answer here a couple of questions that I've received. Is your favorite topic toilet?
Every time.
So I'm going to answer it here. I've been weaving into the recaps a little bit of the questions I've been sent to answer. So this one is about the toilet situation. In the camp, we do have toilets, and like I said, we were very fortunate to have proper
Luxury, in fact.
luxury toilets.
Don't normally have that.
But open in the wild, or while you are in the race, you're in the stage, you're running, really you just have to go on your own. If it's number one, you just do what you need to do and that's it. If it's number two and you have to get rid of paper, the organizers gave us bags where you put your paper and then you had to tie it obviously and take it with you, lovely, to the next checkpoint where you can throw it in.
Sure, it's like going to Turkey 10 years ago. Where you couldn't flush your toilet, you couldn't flush your paper down the toilet. It's the same.
That was just a nasty thing. You
Is
have to
it?
be like carrying a paper, like a toilet roll, like toilet,
So,
use toilet.
so if you're
there.
on the track, you're running, need a number two, scoot behind a rock. Is that what you do?
The problem is there was no rocks.
Right?
That's where I was trying to get to. So in this particular stage, there was nothing. I'm gonna let you that sink in for a minute.
Is this when you met your iguana friend?
No. But what do? You really need to go.
Oh, no, you need to remember this is a family-friendly podcast.
We're being upfront. I'm not saying anything that I haven't seen or it's a reality. We are real here. So you just go. That's what you just do. You just go.
No.
So it was shocking at the beginning. I think it took me the first couple of times I seen a runner just squat pretty much in front of me, like a little bit of a shock.
Oh, thank God you said that, because I had this
system.
vision of you just going when you were running, like, and not actually, like...
No, you do, like, you go to the side, but it's everyone can see because there's no...
Thank the running gods, because I had this vision of you running like 50 kilometres with a poo in your pants.
No. That would... Probably that would have been the option, but I don't have a shower at the end. So we cannot do that.
You can't do that.
So, yeah. In this particular stage, it was very shocking to see that. But I think after a couple of hours that you are in the same road and then you keep looking up, like, a front, there's runners back in the front and, and if you need to go, you need to go. So, yeah. And at the beginning, like I said, it was a little bit of a shock. But then later on, it just became common almost. And you if you see someone kind of squatting, like a couple of, meters away from you, you just kind of, turn a little bit and just let them go, I guess. And then suddenly it was my turn to go to the toilet. So I was very hesitant. I really tried to hold it as much as I could because I was like, I can't do this. I can go to number one, thank God. Just everyone's going to see me. Like if I'm seeing everyone, it's going to happen the same to me. So it was a little bit of a, neck rocking, but I had to. And I just step off the trail and I say, you know what? If I need to go, I need to go. I tried to be away. Like I didn't have anyone behind me for a
Yeah.
while, but obviously the distances are so deceiving. You think this is really far, and then 2 minutes after the
Yeah.
person is like right there. So it was this Japanese runner that was right behind me, and
Was that the older guy?
the
Was
older
it?
guy
Oh,
is
I've seen
very
him.
it's,
Yeah, a
it's
lot
an
of the photos.
older participant, and he was wearing a massive backpack, I remember, and he can trek. He was going fast, and he was wearing, you know, the casa, the hats, the Japanese
Oh yeah,
hats,
Like,
the
yeah.
yellow one, and
Yeah, I seen the
he
pictures. Are cool.
seen me that I stepped off the trail, and he so loved. I kind of like looked at him. He glanced, and he just stepped down his hat. I thought that was the cutest thing ever. Like so respectful.
Big shout out to him
He
for being
just came
respectful.
down,
Yeah.
tilted his hat down, and kept walking while I
Yeah.
was squatting just meters away from him. He was, you know. So yeah, that was it.
Well, actually, do you know what? That story ended up a lot better than I thought it was going to. Because the way that you were describing it in the beginning, I had a whole panic thing going on when I was thinking
know,
that you
no,
were
we're not that
running with a
gross.
poo in your pants.
And yeah, the day obviously kept going really hotter and hotter and hotter. And then 5 kilometers before the end, we were told that there was going to be a checkpoint where it was a little bit off because checkpoints are usually 10 kilometers apart.
Yep.
But this one in particular was 5K apart, so 5K away from the checkpoint. And it was because we were about to enter a canyon, which canyons are a little bit hotter than the outside, just because the rocks are, you know, making that oven effect where the rock obviously keeps the heat. And so you have heat coming from both sides. Obviously there's sand and there's no shade. So and it's like a valley. So it's like you go down.
Yeah.
So it makes this like oven kind of valley effect.
Yeah.
So the thermometer was going to hit around 54 was what we were able to catch after.
I remember when we went to Nevada, we experienced that. I remember we went to the Valley of Fire.
Yeah.
And we went down this canyon and the sun was beating down, remember?
You can feel it from the rocks.
Yeah, and it was only the distance between the two, and the rocks were really, really high, weren't they?
Really high, yeah.
And the distance between them was 3 meters, but the sun was directly above it, remember? And it was blistering. Absolutely blistering, because there was no wind coming through.
Oh,
there
that's
was
the
nothing
other
coming
thing.
from above
like
or
I
below.
said, it's like
or
a
any of
valley,
it.
so there's no winds, no
Yeah.
nothing.
Well,
so
this was a channel, I remember, so I can imagine what it was like.
So, yeah, if you've been into a canyon, you know that the oven cracks up a little bit higher. So they had a full team before going into the canyon. The canyon was 5 kilometers, and you could know you need to get clearance from the medical saying you look okay, you're gonna make
To
it
actually go into
to
it.
actually go in,
All right.
because there is no roving vehicles or there's not going to be any assistance because it's a canyon. It's
There's
really
no
hard.
access or anything.
It's really hard to get into the canyon for them if something happens to you. So they needed to be sure that you would be able to like survive it, and you know that you're looking good to pass through. So I was there. I was, you know, getting the medical, you know, clearance and everything. And I there was another runner there also in the checkpoint, Christina. Big, massive shout out to Christina. I met her there, and we were kind of like in the same, you know, we were kind of getting ready to go into the canyon and everything. So we said, hey, do you want to, you know, partner up and, you know, get it over together? So we said, let's go. And it was great. It was fantastic to have a running buddy for the last 5K. It was not running. We were just crawling at that point. I think it was great because that took I was just thinking, we were chatting along about different things.
Were you nervous going
We were
into it?
distracted. Yeah, I was nervous. I was like, if I'm already hot in here, imagine down there.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, I think because we were distracted, the chat was so entertaining. She is a great runner. She's done multiple Racing the Planet races. She was training. She was using this race to train for Bigfoot 200,
All right.
which is a 200-mile race. And I kind of told her, like, hey, I'm using these ones to, you know, to sort of train for Cocodona 250. And we were like, obviously, Christina, a girl, she had like the same favorite athletes out there, and we were just chatting that we were listening to the same podcast. We had the same like crush on these crazy female ultra runners, and it was just great to chat with someone that we had so many things alike, and we were like share so many things that I got so distracted that, I mean, we did struggle a little bit, obviously, like we were a little bit like, okay, come on, you can do it, or I was like, I'm struggling, and she's like, what do you need? I was like, I think I need a tablet, and she shared one with me, and you kind of like, but overall the time went really fast just because I was chatting along and we were having a good chat. Then, later on, we crossed the finish line together, actually. If you
cool.
see my Instagram, there is a video of Christina and I crossing that finish line. I said, let's hold hands, because that was a tough, tough battle back there. We battled that canyon and we owned it.
Is it a different feeling? See, because obviously you talk, and I've heard other people saying it's a very much a solo sport, right? And it is very much a solo sport, right? But is there something in the fact of going through that kind of challenge with someone and getting to the finish line and actually having done it together? Is it something that feels good about it? Does it feel like you've done a challenge together? Does it feel different?
I think it feels, in my perspective, right, in my experience, it makes me feel better in the way that I'm thinking like, hey, I'm not the only one struggling, because I could see the other one struggling same as me. So I know I'm not, I don't suck, or I'm not bad at it. It's just hard, and that's what it is. So that's kind of helps me to be like, okay, it's just hard. Everyone's feeling it hard. So you're not undertrained or overtrained or nothing. You didn't do anything bad or wrong. It's just hard, and you both did it. And and I will talk about it in the next stage, actually. It's also very complicated, and you have to be very smart if you decide to go into like partner up with someone. Just know that you have to keep your own pace, be truth to your own pace, and truth to yourself. Let's say this is going to happen in the next stage. That's why I'm going to keep it. But if she's feeling great and she's going to be maybe tracking a little bit faster, and I don't feel like it and I'm struggling, it's almost a rule, like just let her go, or you go, and you're going to have to let the other person stay. Unless the person's obviously having a medical emergency, you don't leave the runner there. But if both are feeling good and you're just like, hey, I want to take it a little bit easy, which is going to happen in the next stage, it's fine. You just need to know that, you just respect to your pace, and just do you. That's been, I think, the biggest learning in all this. Just you do your race. So in this case, we both were in the same pace. Like I didn't feel like she was pushing or I was pushing. It was great. We finished. It was great. And then we finished that night, and we camped at a old ostrich farm, which was like the weirdest building.
Old ostrich farm.
Exactly. I was like, how is that even? But it was just
there's a phrase I never thought I would hear in my life.
I know. I was like, an ostrich as the animal ostrich. But it was apparently, and it was a creepy old building, kind of like half demolished, in the middle of the desert. It was like so surreal. Like it was just weird, but so cool at the same time. And that's where the camp was. Yep. So it was a great, lovely night. I was absolutely dead at the end, and ready to battle the last 40 kilometers for next day.
Hold on, because we've done stage 1 and stage 2.
40.
You've done stage 3.
40.
Stage 4.
Stage 4 is the last marathon before
right, okay.
Before the long march. So let's go to stage 4, last marathon. One left to go, and then you're gonna be hit with the truth. So day 4, same thing, 40 kilometers. We're staying, and this one actually is a little bit tougher because we're still now in the canyon. Now we moved from, it was the dunes, we went into that section of road, horrible road. We went into the canyon, and now we're gonna stay in the canyons for a little bit. It's called Moon Valley. I recalled it Fire Valley. Oban Valley. And we stay in there, which at the beginning was great because it was definitely a little bit more, the surroundings were a little bit more fun than the previous day, which was a flat, boring road. This one was in the canyons. You were like scrambling. You even had to rope climb. I had a wee of a fright there. I'll
Yeah,
show
I've seen
you.
a video
You
of
need to,
it. Yeah.
you need to wait for the video.
That-
I'm going to. It's coming, but I almost, I
I,
almost
well,
fell from the
the,
rope.
the video that I think that Racing the Planet had put out was, or a picture was of somebody climbing up. So I seen it. You come up through rocks and like
Yeah,
a
you
small
had to
canyon,
like
you climb
scramble
up.
a little bit,
Yeah.
and they put a rope there to help yourself to kind of like. That was weird, but it was fun. At least
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a
little
bit
bit
different.
more fun than a flat empty road. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun, and I was feeling great. I feel the first kilometers, and like I said, I kept spitting on myself when I needed to cool down. But that day, I definitely felt, or I seen a little bit more of everyone struggling. I think everyone, including myself, I think everyone was starting to feel the exhaustion of 4 days in 40 plus degrees, some days of 50 over degree heat, and obviously eating, not great. You're not sleeping
Well, that's what I was going to
well
ask you. Were you
either.
struggling to sleep?
Yeah, of course.
I would say everybody would be the same, and that would be the biggest
Yeah, I
issue, would
did
it not?
struggle to sleep. One, it's not comfortable. I did have an inflatable mat. It was comfortable, but you can hear everything, even though I have earplugs. You're still aware. And then if you are sore or,
Yeah, you're feeling that
you
as well.
still, yeah, it's not, you don't rest. I think in my watch, it's not 100% accurate, right? I know that. But let's just imagine my watch clocked like I was sleeping around 5 hours a day. So it was not great considering you're pushing or you're doing that much every day. So
And do you feel there's anything you could have done different to help you sleep?
no.
No.
I thought it would, because last in Jordan I didn't wear earplugs, and I thought that was a mistake. I wore earplugs this time, and it's still nothing. And your head still's loud. My head is very loud, so I just didn't. Yeah, I couldn't.
See, with that, and I've experienced that in the past as well, of getting very little sleep, 4 and 5 hours. I actually wake up with a bit of, I don't know about anyone else, but I wake up with a fuzzy head, and for a few hours
Yeah.
I'm a bit hazy. Is that the way you were in the morning when you were waking up?
I maybe, but I didn't have time for that to realize or anything. It's just go and just focus and trying to bring your head back to the game, because
Yeah.
you need to feed yourself again. You need to wake up in the morning, cook your own breakfast, and then you don't have time to. Maybe I didn't
Yeah.
even realize if I was. I did say that I felt after very dizzy. We said that in
Right.
the first episode. I was very dizzy, but after the race, maybe I was kind of like controlling myself and keeping
Yeah.
my head right during the race. Because if you forget something or you're wasting time, you have 2 hours to get ready from having breakfast to
Yeah.
get all your packed again and up and go and dressed and with dust and sand everywhere, and it just gets very messy. So yeah, back to stage 4. So yeah, it was still very hot, and I did have a wee fries in that stage. I think that was the second time I thought I'm not gonna make it, because again, all day, over 50s, canyons, all that. I met actually Christina somewhere at the end as well. We didn't run the whole thing together, but just at the end, we kind of like met again in the trail and we walked a little bit. And that's what I was saying. She was going a little bit faster than me, and I was struggling. I was just having a really bad day, and it was really hot. So I was, thank God this time there was trees because we were in the canyon, so there was a little bit of vegetation around. So I was able to walk from shade to shade. That was my
Right,
goal.
okay.
I was
Yep.
just walking from one tree to another, and I could see a lot of people doing the same thing. You were just crawling from one tree, like sitting down, sometimes laying down in the shade of the tree and keep going. So Christina was, feeling great, or she was doing good. And I just said, you know what, just you keep going. I'm going to rest here. And, off she went. I lost her for a couple of kilometers. And I became slower and slower till the end, towards the very end. Again, I don't know why, like the last 5K for me every day were just like a slog. It was just maybe because and also it's the hottest part of the day. Like you went through 1 and 2 is the hottest part of the day. So by the time I finished, it was like 3, 4. So it was, you battled and you're still battling through a lot of heat, like all the heat, all day in the heat.
Well, if you think about it, I think that the heat takes out you anyway. I mean, it's no wonder that the Spanish guys have a siesta. Do you know what I mean? Because actually, I
Yeah,
think
you
that,
feel tired.
and I feel like here that, and you do
Oh,
as
yeah, yeah,
well.
yeah.
That it gets to like maybe 3 o'clock if we've been out working or walking or training or whatever it might be.
Just feel
It gets to
knackered.
3 o'clock because you've been out in the sun and you've got that heat that you just need to relax. And whether that means like a half an hour snooze or an hour snooze, if you've got the luxury of doing that.
Sadly, I didn't have the time for
Yeah, I was just going to say
siesta.
that. But you know what I mean? So I understand that
Yeah.
the heat thing definitely makes you, and that's why when you get to the last 5K, you're kind of done and you're like,
Well,
oh, just make it be over.
before the 5K, sorry, I forgot. It was the first day that I took a nausea pill, a pill for the nausea, because I was about to throw up. I think it was checkpoint. Even in that stage, checkpoint 1, I was struggling already, and it was 10K in, and
Yeah.
I went to the first checkpoint, and I said, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna throw up. And I think in the video that is going to be released soon, you will see me. I said I'm gonna throw up. I was just really concentrating and breathing and trying to not throw up. And even you can see me a little bit white because I was just really, really sick. I could feel just my stomach was not cooling down, even though I was still spitting on myself. I think it was just exhaustion. Anyway, the doctors, the medicals gave me a pill, and yeah, works wonders. Also, if you are doing any of these races, I wouldn't suggest it until the like if it's really, really imperative, like taking one.
Yeah.
Don't just obviously over medicate yourself. But that was the first time I took one of those pills, and it worked great. I was able to keep going without throwing up. I didn't throw up. That was a win for me because I've seen a lot of throws up as well in the race. I think it was a recurrent thing in every checkpoint. Someone was, feeling, and you can see them almost. I was like, with one guy, I'm like, are you going to throw up? You better turn around. Because he was like inside the tent. And I was like, you should turn. You should turn. And he was like, you can see him a little bit like, like he was looking at me, but not looking at me. And I was like, he's going to throw up. He's going to throw 3 seconds after, like, right in front of me. But like outside him, like, yeah, please stay away from the tent.
It's something we see actually. See how out of the hundreds of documentaries that we've watched over the years, it's something you see quite a lot in long distance running. Do you know what I mean? Where
a lot
people
of digestive issues.
digestive issues, because what happens is that, and it could be anybody. It could be absolute professionals or absolute novices. It's just on that day that it happens.
And
but
the
maybe
guy-
the heat has a bigger impact.
And this guy was like, sorry, I'm throwing up. And in the half of his throw up, he's like, sorry, guys, sorry. And everyone was like, don't worry about it. Like, everyone's throwing up.
Everybody's
It's
covered up.
okay. And he's like, sorry, but sorry. It's okay. It's okay. I feel so bad because he was so embarrassed.
It's all right. I've just seen a guy poo down the road.
Exactly. I'm like, mate, I've seen it all. Like, it's fine. I was like just moving my back, like really, like to the side.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was that day. I think everyone, like I said, it was just feeling really tired. So I took my pill, and then I kept going, and then 5 kilometers before the end again, I thought there was a rowing vehicle. Again, rowing vehicle is just, a vehicle with water. And I kind of was timing my water 5 kilometers to 5 kilometers. So
Yeah.
meaning like I have 1 liter to drink and a little bit to cool myself, just 5 kilometers and 5 kilometers, right? So I kind of timed my water and I kind of like administrate my water that way. So I don't know what I did wrong. I may have been myself, or I don't know, that it was 5 kilometers and the rowing vehicle was not there. And my water has gone because I timed it. So it was supposed to be there and it was not there. So I don't know, again, if the rowing vehicle was a little bit further or I miscounted the distance or what happened. But those 2 kilometers, guys, I thought it was going to be the end of me. No water for 2 kilometers at that point would have been like 20 plus minutes. I know it sounds stupid, 2 kilometers, but at 54 degrees, 20 minutes,
Everything seems longer.
it's a lot of time. And
Yeah.
also taking into consideration you're exhausted from all day. So I really thought, like, I was starting to feel really dizzy. and really exhausted. Like I felt like I could just roll in, in the trail and just go for a nap. I was feeling like I just wanted to sleep. And that's one of the things that they tell you, like, don't go to sleep, even when it's cold or when it's hot, because it's just exhaustion. So I was like, oh my God, I just need to keep moving, like, just to keep moving. Like, it was more that way. That day was just like, those 20 minutes were just survival to the fullest. I was like, just keep awake, just keep moving. Tania, you're here. Come on, just talking to myself, me and Merenguita. Just, we both were like, come on, we can't die here. Like, we're both, joining strengths to get me going. I did close my eyes a couple of times. I was like, okay, I'm just going to walk 10 steps with my eyes closed because I'm really tired.
Yeah.
And that's where I thought, oh, this is dangerous. Anyway, like I said, 10 kilometers after, I've seen the roving vehicle. I barely made it to the roving vehicle. I went into the area that they have, and I just fell down to my knees, and I just like went to my side, and then I just closed my eyes. I don't even know if I slept for like 10 seconds. And everyone was like, are you okay? Obviously the medical, everyone was there. They're amazing, the response, because they don't know if you're in a really bad shape or what's going on. So their response is crucial, and it was so good. Obviously, I know it was not in a medical emergency. I was just really exhausted, just needed water. But they were very nice, and I was just trying to recover a little bit, just shade, finally water.
Yep.
And the medical is, do you want a medicinal Coke? It's not the Coke that you're thinking, guys.
Hold on, a medicine, a Coke. What do you mean?
Medical Coke. Medical Coke.
My silence.
It's not the Coke that you're thinking. A can of Coke.
A can of, like, normal
Coke.
And they call it medicine Coke.
Yeah. Because they're not supposed to assist you unless it is
got you.
really. So they do have a couple of Cokes. They're hidden, and if they see someone struggling, same thing with the pills. I mean, they're not going to see you die in there and not support you. The volunteers and medicals are there ultimately to make you finish, to help you finish, not to not make you finish. So if they're seeing that I'm just low in sugar and I'm just having, a rough patch, a Coke, as you know, or if you don't know, Coke is magic in the trails, right? Coke, a flat Coke can take you miles. So that was the last Coke in the desert, I think, as well. They have the last one in the rover, and the guy had it inside the car where they have the full AC on, so the Coke was actually cold. Oh my
amazing.
God, you have no idea. That was the best thing I've ever drunk in my life.
It does. Actually, do you know what? See the way you've described it? No, the way you've described it in that heat, you can just, I mean, I don't even like Coke,
it was one of the tiny Cokes. It was not a big Coke, and I drank it in 1 second.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's gone. It's gone.
Okay, I have a question. Raise my hand. So in my head, or my understanding, obviously water, everybody needs water, right, to get through anything. Everybody needs it in their day-to-day life, and especially through that sort of temperature and stuff. But from a nutritional point of view, for me, and what I've got from all the podcasts, is everything you've got's got caffeine in it.
Yeah.
Do these things not give you that extra bit of energy just to push you on those extra kilometres, or is water what you really need?
I needed hydration. I needed water. I think more so I needed salt and sugar at that point.
Right, okay.
I think because I was battling in the don't sleep, move forward, and I think I forgot to eat. So that made it worse. And I don't know. I can't remember very well.
That'll be my next questions for Albar when I speak to him.
Yeah.
Albar, your nutritionist. Yeah, just to try and understand that a bit better, because we'll understand that the dehydration thing would absolutely get the potential to kill you. I wondered if you having the sugar and the caffeine and everything else would have driven you that bit extra.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Would you have made it that much without that?
No. I needed sugar.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just going low in everything. and my will to live as well.
You're probably like,
Everything. You have all that. I have caffeine. I got goose. I got, you know what I packed. Still, everything, you struggle. It doesn't matter at that point. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
So I made it to the Robin vehicle and I had my Coke, my medicinal Coke. And 5 minutes later, I was sprinting to the finish.
magic Coke.
That tells you the roller coaster of feelings, of emotions. And that goes back to what I was talking about in the first episode of the season 2 about just riding the wave, I called it, or ride the roller coaster. I was not fighting it. It was what it was. And I was not fighting the feeling. When I was feeling shit, I said I was feeling shit. When I was feeling great. And that's what it is. I was not fighting it. I was not, nothing. It was just what it was. So we have the full recap, the full video coming soon, and you will see that. I think that expresses really well what I went through, and you will see what I'm saying about the roller coaster of emotions. We watched the video, and it was like, I feel great. I'm a shit. I feel great. This is amazing. Oh my God, I want to kill myself. And then it's just amazing. So yeah, that was stage 3 and 4 for you all. And let's go to our usual questions really fast because we're going over the time. But let's go into the questions really fast. Question number 1. How are the glasses? My new glasses or the Aura hat? Anyway, my new glasses maybe. I bought new glasses this week. If you haven't seen them in my Instagram, they are amazing. I think that's going to be the glasses that I'll take to Gobi. Because I am deciding if I want to take the Aura hat or not. Just because it's not going to be as hot or as sunny as this one. So yeah, I'm debating if Sunny's normal sunglasses, which I bought, they're really cool, or the Aura hat. So yeah, we'll have to see. And the next question, did you ever fear during the race that you didn't want to do any more of the race series? No, not yet. Despite that I went to really rough patches and really rough, times, I never thought, I don't want to do this anymore. No, no.
Did you think at any point this is the worst it can get?
Yes, because I spoke to a couple, like I said, of runners since the beginning of the race, and they said this is definitely the hardest.
Right.
So I had that in the back of my mind, which hopefully it is, and they were not lying to me. And then I was like, this is the hardest. But not really. You know what? I think I'm really good now on the thoughts of, like I said, just riding the wave. Like I don't take any decisions. I don't think about if I want to do it or not anymore. Like I just, in this moment, I'm feeling shit, and that's it. Like I'm not thinking on the future too much. It's just what it's going to pass. Like I know I'm not gonna feel like this in the next 20 minutes or in the next half an hour. And the shade came by, and then I felt great, and so I never really think that future. And I think that's also the key, for example, in day 2, where a lot of people start bailing out, because that was the first day that we were really hit with the heat and the sand dunes and everything. That put a lot of people out because they were thinking, oh my God, I still have other 2 days and a long march. And then that thought, and then knowing that is that hard, that your mind can play tricks on you really, really hard. So again, it goes back to have a plan.
Yeah.
Don't think about the future. Just in that moment, ride the wave, or, leave the moment that you're leaving without fighting it. The feeling, just feel the feeling that you're leaving in that moment, and don't fight it, and just know that it's going to pass. It's just not.
But I guess those people that are, say, DNFing at that point are coming out, they're looking at what they're doing at that moment with those sand dunes and thinking, I've got another 2 days of this.
Yeah.
Thinking it's all going to be like that when
it just
wasn't.
got worse, so they were smart.
But actually, I guess that this podcast is good for people that are considering doing that, because I guess you're giving them information of, It's not like that. The terrains
No,
are different.
it gets worse.
Look out for the canyons. Look out for these things. I mean, it's
He
that's,
just go way worse
yeah,
than that.
but that's something that we couldn't find when we were researching these races. So that's quite interesting.
You
aye,
only
very
get
good.
these insights from people that already did the race
Yeah.
and when you're already there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't find that kind of feedback.
That's
So if you're
good.
doing this race or if you're doing any other race, just know that don't look too much in the future. So if that thought came to my head, I would have kicked it away. Like it's day 2. Like no, it makes no sense to think about that. So the answer is no.
Yeah. There you go.
I guess. So yeah, and that's it for today, guys. We are 4 weeks away from Mongolia, from Gobi Desert, and I already did all my logistics. I've been working hard to get the airplane tickets, filled out my forms, send them over, medical tests, because the insurance, everything.
Visa?
And visas, I need to get those. I do need 2
Oh.
visas,
Oh no.
but they are e-visas, so I
Oh.
know they're going to be easy and simple.
So it's not like last time.
Hopefully.
And plus, you're not going to China.
I'm not going to China, Mongolia. And yeah, so I'm very excited to share with you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find some interesting tips and tricks and, what to do with your training now in summer that is coming around the corner.
Not, there with a
And-
lovely.
Oh yeah, hopefully
lovely
you
view.
enjoyed
Maybe
the
the sunset.
for whoever is watching on YouTube. And if you're listening, thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed and we made your run or your drive home a little bit more entertaining and fun. And we are going to shoot the next episode next week for the last stage. That is going to be the fun one. The Long March is called, so you can imagine. So it's 50 miles of 80 kilometers. And yeah, after all that, we've been talking about, at the end, you do have to do a 80 kilometer 50 miler. And like I said, I've done a fair amount of 50 milers in my life at this point, but I've never done one after 4 big, massive slaps in the face. So yeah, I definitely wounded already. So going into the 50 miler I was a little bit scared. I'm not gonna lie. So we'll talk about it all in the next episode. And also super exciting to share with you that the following episode, I do have a special guest already booked, and it's going to be so much fun. And I can't wait for my special guest and me to come and tell you all our crazy stories. And she will tell you all her crazy stories that she had on during the race. So thank you so much for listening and watching, and we'll see you all next week. Hope you enjoy your weekend, and remember to keep doing whatever makes you ultra happy.